Hey there, my name is John Stevens, pastor of Zion Lutheran Church in Oregon City, Oregon, and we're part of the ELCA. And welcome to Dollar Store Children's Sermons, where we take a look at the lectionary text and we tie it to an item, from around the house or the Dollar Tree or wherever you are in your the timeline of the pandemic, whether you're looking at going back to church, please be safe, or you're sheltering in place, or you're doing online worship. Thank you, however you are doing it. Thank you for the work that you are doing for your kids, for your congregation. They appreciate it. I appreciate it. And ministry happens. Isn't it amazing with all of the ways that ministry can be rolled out and we can reach our people and our kids? I love it. So, this is for the narrative lectionary, and we're still looking at Job. And this is one of my favorite parts in Job. If you have not seen Rob Bell's Pneuma series, he does a video on this where it's this long airplane, it's a runway, it's this rundown runway, and he's walking backwards as he's being filmed, and he is reciting this poem, this narrative, and it's really powerful. But I love this section because Job gets done with his rightful complaining or his lamenting. I mean, it's not like he doesn't have the right, and so he's lamenting, he's doing this, and he's like, okay, God, why don't you respond? And it's almost like God rolls up God's sleeves and goes, okay, let me respond. So where were you when the mountains were rolled out? Where were you when the seas were? And he goes on. And there's an image where it's like God takes what Job is seeing and expands it. So I'm going to clip now. I'm going to transfer. We're going to merge into a video that I took. I was walking out by the Columbia River, and this is how I kind of see the text leading about how God pulls Job's vision from being looking just at himself and moving it up and expanding. So we're going to do that. I'll be right back. When I think of Job, I think about how so many times we're walking along and this is what we see. Now, this is not to minimize what Job is going through, but this idea that when Job asks God, Job gets done with his speech, and then he asks God, and in that, when God answers, you start to see God raise up the vision, and you see around you there's so much more going on. How easy it is to just see the intricacy, which is beautiful, but where we can forget what we have around us. All right. See what I mean? When we look at here, the small little pebbles, the rocks, and that gets lifted up, and there's this expansion of seeing all the stuff that God is up to. Now, there's a fine line, because the fine line is that I don't believe it's saying that it's wrong to focus on our stuff and the beautiful or the hard, intricate nature of all the stuff. But in that dialogue with Job, God is reminding that there is so much more going on. I think this point in time for me, because my eyes are being opened wide and they've been being opened slowly throughout this, but this point with all of the stuff that's going on in our country, George Floyd and peaceful protests and the call for racial equality and all of the things that are being lifted up, it is a way for me. I've been so focused on me that this all of this is a way of God taking my vision and moving it from this intricate here and moving it up and seeing all of what's going on. And I can go, okay. And God then calls us to respond. So maybe a way to do this, maybe a way of a children's sermon. One is you could go out and you could film something, perhaps find something that's got a pattern, and you can go really close up on that pattern, and it can be maybe like, I don't know, a wicker basket. Or I'm just thinking something that's got an intricate pattern, and you're really up close and you're focused up close, and you have a hard time telling what it is until you pull back. And when you pull back, all of a sudden it comes into view. It could be like I took the video of it started the video on the rocky path, and then pull up so you can see where you're at. Maybe it's the idea that when your peripheral vision is blocked, like they used to, when a horse is pulling a buggy, they put the blinders on so that the horse can't be spooked from things off to the side. But the idea that when you've got this, all I can see is where I'm facing this way. I have to turn around like this. But then when those blinders get removed, or the side views gets removed, my picture expands. And I go, huh. And I think that's the call. That's one of the things that we can get from this section of Job, that the picture gets expanded, and we see that not only are we part of this story, but there's so much more. All right, so that's where I'm going. That's the springboard for this. I'm hoping that this can be useful, helpful for you. Thank you so much for stopping by. Thank you for the work you are doing. When I was recording the one for the Revised Common Lectionary, I was thinking about, this feels kind of like 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon. This idea that I see work that we're doing because a friend of mine will share a friend of mine who shares a friend of theirs children's sermon, and you guys are rocking this. You are doing fantastic work, and I am so, just to put bluntly, I'm so proud of the work you're doing. It's amazing. And all of the situations that we're in are a little bit different. Some people are Zoom worshiping, some people are online worshiping, some people are going, maybe we'll go back to worship this, go back to the building this, all these things. And with all of the pivots, and you guys are rocking it. And I am absolutely amazed in wonderful ways. So thank you. Your congregation thanks you. Your kids thank you. And you're doing good work. So I will see you next week.